This one goes out to the Artcasters. Ooh, Artcasters! I say you're catching your spell, Artcasters. Catching your spell. Ooh, you're gonna cast that spell. Strike of hell. Whoa! Ooh, hi, 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 hi.
All right, greetings everyone. Welcome to Artcasters number 451, and we've got a returning guest on that hasn't been on the show in a while, so we're anxious to catch up with him. But we'll do what we always do: go around our virtual room, introduce ourselves, and tell everyone what you can, what we've got to sell, or let you know about any events or anything like that. So I'll kick things off. You're on my channel, so this is where you can find all my YouTube videos, including my series Making Comics 101. If you want to learn how to make comics, I've got a full series on it. It's the most comprehensive free course on how to make comics that you can find anywhere, and it's on my YouTube channel. There's a playlist somewhere on here. More recently, on my YouTube channel, I just dropped a video today where I took I have it here. I thought I did. I took the classic. If you're familiar with the classic Peachy folder, which I didn't realize. I guess it was more of a like a Western United States thing. I guess they didn't have them everywhere, but anyway, there was these folders called Peachy folders. They just had little drawings of sports figures, and people would draw all over them and tweak them around and stuff. So I took that classic folder and I re-envisioned it with monsters and stuff like that. So just put that video up, but there's a bunch of other videos that you can check out that I've been doing recently where I take artifacts or ephemera from the Gen X era, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and re-envision it and put a weird spin on it and everything. So you guys can check that stuff out at my YouTube channel right here. I also have a website called circworks.com where you can go. You can find digital products that'll help you create comics. We got a lettering masterclass. It's really cool. I've got the amazing comic book world builder, all that stuff. I also have my comic book, Young and the Dead, which I'm going to start pimping it right now. There will be a Kickstarter coming out soon, and I will just keep letting you guys know just to prepare you. Hopefully next month is when I'm planning to launch it, but I'll keep you guys informed. But that will be for the complete full story in one volume, or if you have all the other volumes in single issues, you'll be able to get that last issue as well. So just keep an ear out for that. I'll be letting you guys know about that. But yeah, that's all. That's pretty much everything I've got. What about you, Josh?
Awesome. Yeah. So I have two independent graphic novels. One is called Two Stories, which is a graphic novel about faith and mental illness that's hand lettered, hand inked, and then can be handed to you in print. And also it deals with basically how to navigate depression and anxiety issues and stuff like that. So it's pretty deep black and white comic that goes in that like indie territory, which I think you guys will dig. And then also there's Jacob's Apartment, which is a story about two polar opposite roommates that find themselves drawn together when crazy life circumstances happen. And as they're drawn together, reality and dreams start interweaving. And so it's about kind of identity and faith. And it's like if you took Eternal Sunshine for the Spotless Mind, put it in a blender with Ghost World, and you like that flavor, you would like Jacob's Apartment most likely. And then lastly, I just wanted to mention we're I thought you said 451, 454. Never mind. I was gonna make like a Ray Bradbury reference, but I can't.
Yeah, you missed your opportunity on that one.
Darn it! 3 episodes too late. But anyhow, yeah. So that's
basically the whole thing will go up in flames, and then you can make the reference. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Is that it, Josh? Sorry.
Yeah, that's basically it. And Joshua Campbell on YouTube and stuff. I stream all that fun stuff.
Campbell. Okay, returning to the show, we've got Scot Campbell, the window painter, artist extraordinaire. It's been a while. What's been going on?
Well, I retired about 5 years ago. I don't know if I was probably on.
You've been on since you retired, yeah.
Yeah, and it just gets better and better. I mean, physically it sucks. You know, I've had torn retina and cataract surgery, and I got hearing aids, and
You
but
cut your finger off and all that stuff.
yeah, I can only do like 4 push-ups now. But I mean, other than that, life's good. It's probably the best time of my life overall, and I can. Wouldn't be uncommon if I spent 6-7 hours in a day just drawing,
Awesome.
sketching, drawing, studying. I mean, it's really a dream come true
That's
to
awesome.
be able to do that without worrying about revenue.
Yeah.
You know, and so right now I try to take care of YouTube, answer all the questions regarding window painting, and then I have a Patreon channel which I do the same, and that brings in some extra income, which is nice. But my other objective, you know, plus I do life stuff, you know, and dropping the grandson off at school and whatever, grocery shopping, cleaning the house. Other than that, my main objective is to learn how to draw. I really want to learn, and there's so many things that I've learned in the last 4 years, and it was always a lifelong dream of mine to draw. You know, people look at my windows and stuff. Oh, well, what do you mean you're trying to learn to draw? But the thing is, you know, I'm good at doing certain things because I've done them 1,000 times. If you want me to draw a Santa Claus, you know, I've done 10,000 of them. So yeah, muscle memory, it's there. But draw a certain type of shoe or the bottom of a foot, you know, it's like it's a whole different story. People don't realize, you know, and there's people that are more well-rounded that started at a younger age and have a really huge amount of information in their head.
Yeah.
But even people like that, even the best of the best, you know, like Ian McCaig or Carl Kopinski, you know, they use reference too. Everybody does, you know, except for maybe what was his name, Kim Jong-gi, or
Yeah, that guy's an anomaly. He shouldn't even.
Yeah.
He shouldn't even count. Like, there's no one like that.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I'm just so excited I've progressed so much in just a few years, and I just don't know what I'm going to do with what I'm learning. Because, you know, I've got that thing stuck in my head still. You know, I'm going to be 70 next year, and it's still kind of brainwashed. You got to make money. You got to make money. But I don't make money anymore. My income's fine. I have enough to live, and pretty much get whatever I need or want. You know, I have a crap load of pencils.
Yeah.
I've got drawers and drawers of
cold
erase pencils.
I wanted to cover a couple things. One, I think what you mentioned about these younger kids, I think younger artists today, in some way, I mean, I don't want to, you know, take away from the whole AI thing, which is scary as hell, but younger artists, they have so many more resources now than we did. And that's why I'm just constantly surprised that I see some of these really young artists that are just so phenomenal, but they have so much, everything's at their fingertip, that if they really want to put in the time and they really want to learn, I mean, they just, you know, they can just get so much further in so less time than I think we were able to.
Yeah. And I tell people sometimes, you know, they go, God, you're so good. You're the best artist ever. And I go, believe me, there's artists that are 20 years old that can draw circles around me.
Yeah.
Because they started when they were 12 and they're obsessed with it, and they're not trying to make a living or support their 3 kids, which is a big factor. You know, I stuck with window painting because that's how I made money.
Yeah.
I couldn't even work small. Everything was giant, you know. And
I mean, I always one thing I always say, and I bring this up quite often, is, you know, the question of like, what would you be doing if like money wasn't an option? If you didn't have to, because there's a lot of things that I do because well, I mean, it involves art. Sure, I love it, but would I be doing the same thing if I didn't need to for money? And you know, that's why you hear so many people that, you know, have done, maybe they were, you know, work for ad agencies, a creative director, and then they retire and they just do plein air painting or something like that. So, I mean, you're at the point where you can really just, you could do whatever you want. So I guess the question is, what is it that you want to do? And it sounds like you're still kind of figuring that out.
Yeah, I want to learn. And I want to grow. And I think what do want to do, though, at some point, I would like to make some type of zine or sketchbook and offer it for sale. And
Yeah.
along with it, do, one page of an original drawing. And, because I have so many sketches, I have so much stuff in the last,
Yeah.
I mean, I draw every day, usually 2 hours. And then sometimes it goes into 4, 5, 6. And my wife Audrey and I, we watch movies, and she's drawing and I'm drawing while we're watching the movies.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I've got some. I like to use the number 8, the micron pen.
Yeah,
I like-
that's the
I like
size
the
I use.
size
I just
and-
buy big packs of number
But
8.
yeah, I was doing. I do like these. That's a pencil there. This is
Yeah.
pencil, but this is more. I do this like just weird stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'm not doing it for anything, but like just doing sketches like this while I was, watching a film or something. It used a little
Oh yeah.
Ohuhu marker or whatever they call it, kind of filled it in. But
Yeah.
just to be able to just do this and not worry about like what's it for or who's it for. It's not for anybody. But these are just a few I did last week of just bizarre,
Yeah.
kind of weird characters. And like this guy, what's he doing? He's in a vat of oil. I don't know. Just strange and weird. But like this one, I like this page a lot because I was doing some dogs and hands and
I love that hand.
yeah, I'm just
That is a
you know,
good
It
hand.
reminds me of like a Jack Davis hand or something.
yeah, and I'm trying to learn feet, and I mean, I'm getting pretty okay at hands. I mean, I got a long ways to go. You never really arrive, really.
Yeah.
But
That's
like
the tough thing with art, right? It's like you always kind of, even if you've leveled up, you're still kind of reaching so far that it's hard to even notice your improvements, Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell now. Like this, I was watching Jacques Cousteau, but
That's great.
it didn't look like him. It kind of looks like me and Jacques Cousteau mixed together. A lot of my characters look like
It's Scott
Like me.
Cousteau.
like me. Yeah. This guy's kind of cool.
Those are great.
Or I'll see people, online,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll just copy them.
Well, that should, I guess, sort of lead into our topic, because I know you wanted to talk about, reference versus just from your imagination. So, I mean, that's one. I mean, you're talking about drawing people online. There's also, if you do it discreetly, just going out to a public place and kind of drawing people, using them as reference or whatever.
Yeah,
So, what do you find most of your stuff is? Are you looking at reference, or you just is?
It's probably about 2/3 out of my head and about
Yeah.
a third reference. Before I couldn't even draw a reference, but like for example, this picture I took of myself a little while ago,
Uh-huh.
I drew this from it,
Okay. Yeah.
and I look a lot younger, and my nose isn't quite as big, but I definitely have the expression. I
Yeah.
captured. The main thing is capturing the expression. So I couldn't do this before, 6 years ago. My
Really?
brain would just,
Yeah.
It's practice and learning. Like looking, look when you're doing reference, it's like it's like this line goes straight down, this line goes that way,
Yeah.
and how big is this compared to this line? And then what does the negative space look like? And
Yeah.
and
It's
then
a lot
you
of
get into
measurement.
it's just like mental gymnastics trying to figure out
Yeah.
everything. And
It-
like I could
any-
probably duplicate this face with a few hours or maybe a couple hours if I really wanted to paint it, or but I mean, as far as this, it satisfies me because it keeps me sharp, doing this, doing reference. And and here's some other stuff I did earlier today. I'll show you. I go on Pinterest a lot and
Yeah.
Google Images, and there's such a plethora of materials you can study and learn. But so
Yeah, you don't need a morgue file anymore,
no, like I used to go to the library, and you would check out papers from magazines.
Yeah.
You'd go and they'd have a filing cabinet, and then you'd go in and you'd check out all these pictures like of whatever that were from magazines. But so I saw this guy, which I thought was really nice, clean. I don't know exactly who the artist is, but just really nice. So I pretty much copied it. I went ahead and this is the original. I copied it. And it came out pretty good. You know, it's not exact, but like I said before, I couldn't do this. So for me to improve and get sharp, I do stuff like that. I use reference, like using references. It's just everybody does it. You need it, and the idea is the more I draw this guy, I'm going to build up muscle memory.
Yeah, that reference will just be imprinted in your brain.
Yeah.
So you're still using reference, but it's more, you know, it's like
it's there already. You don't need to, and then you can turn them and stuff. But right now, all I can do as far as this is concerned is to copy the lines basically and kind of feel the form of it. But I really don't understand it yet. You know, people would say, well, that looks good, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's like these guys that go online and they do these incredible faces with like really realistic eyes and they totally duplicate it. That's a good ability to have, but that's only like a third of it. It's only part of it. And that's the part I'm trying to get is what they have to be able to look at something. Now, everything else on this page, with the exception of this guy and this wolf, because I don't know what wolves look like really. All these other ones I just did out of my head. I use the Loomis method a lot, but you know, I just create these weird characters. I don't know if it's out of focus or what, but and I have a sense of how to work with shadows and stuff. So creating this guy, I wasn't looking at anything. I was just, you know, I have a good sense of showing emotion, like this girl here or lady. And then this guy, you know, I did another one where I put his head on the body of, I took it into Photoshop and
and that's, I mean, obviously that comes from all the work you did. I mean, people want those kind of expressions when you're doing window painting and stuff for you know.
Well, and then there's the whole cartooning thing, which really messes with stuff too. I have like 45 years of making eyes like Garfield's eyes and Disney eyes, and I have to I have to compartmentalize that to be able to.
Whenever I do a portrait, it always looks like a caricature. It's almost impossible for me to get away from it.
It's really hard. Like these eyes here, you know, they're so tiny. You know, they're so tiny on the character. And then like the skulls, I can do skulls just out of my head and this and that. This is another one I did that I really like. I really like this character here. And that's just all out of my head. And just, this is Peter Hahn here. I love him. He's such a great artist. But this is fun to do with the microns. I like that. But I do also like the, you know, when I'm doing more like stuff that's like finished inking stuff, I like using these pens here.
The brush pen.
And it's fast and it's like doing this. I know what it looks like. You know, I know where things go, and like for a long time I would put the eye too close to there, and then eventually I learn, you know, how the jaw goes, and I know the ear goes here, and you know, but I do use the Loomis method for sure. And then learning more about ears, and it just takes time. It takes years of, you know, of complete, you know, doing it over and over. And it's like I said, muscle memory. But so, reference definitely is important. And I think, you know, some people rely on that too much and give it too much importance, you know, like they think that's it, you know, you look at it, you draw it, but then you ask them to do, you know, ask them to do a rabbit really fast or something, you know, they don't really know what goes where or what, or, you know, and then your imagination kicks in and maybe you want to make it a Cyclops rabbit. But it's just from doing it so much, like the cartooning, I have so much with that. But then if I wanted to do a realistic rabbit, I don't have the muscle memory to do a realistic rabbit. I'd have to get a picture. I could kind of guess, I know its body's here, it's fluffy and it's got ears, and I could kind of do it. But when it gets down to the details and the shading, I would have to use reference.
Yeah, animals. I
Yep.
definitely need reference for animals.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
like,
I feel like we're like doing a cartooning project in my like art 1 classes, right? And a lot of the kids haven't really developed that muscle memory yet and are kind of hesitant to use photo reference. And I'm like trying to kind of point out like, hey, like all of Snow White was shot with live action actors for a reason. Like even the Disney guys were using reference because it's just super helpful. Like even if you're simplifying. So it's like, I think being able to pull from that reference and kind of build that memory. But it is one of those weird things of like quite often people wanting to learn how to draw and not wanting to learn the muscle memory part first, which is tough because then like you don't really have a lot of those resources in your brain to like pull from.
Yeah, and you got to learn lighting and form and perspective. Yeah. Like I'm really shitty with perspective, and I can't do it that well. I don't do it that well because I'm mainly concerned with characters. And
and why would you? Like this is something I think sometimes people don't realize. It's like, why would you have developed that too much? Because you've never, you didn't have to. You know what I mean?
When I'm painting windows, you just want big giant things on the window.
Yeah, and I mean, we learn stuff. I think we tend to learn stuff based on the need. You know what I mean? Like our own need. So it's like if I want to make a book with like a arcade, and I'm insane, and my name's Scott Circlin, then I've got to learn how to do this crazy perspective shot of the arcade over and over again from like
that's another thing. You just have to learn and do it so much. But there's different different formulas too. Like I use the Loomis method a lot. Like taking the ball and splitting it up, doing this, and, this going here and there. But it took me for a long time my brain was hurting because it seemed like the middle line should be where the eyes are, but the eyes are below that line.
Yep.
And it's so weird, and it's so hard to break patterns of behavior. It's so hard to stop doing things you've done all your life and it's just just to be able to look at things and copy. So now here there's like the Loomis method, and then you use your brain to decide, is it a man? Is it a woman? A woman has a smaller chin and it's and more sloping here on the jaw, and it's not like, it doesn't go like that where the eye is. It's more, it's more soft. It's more subtle. Give her some eyelashes, She kind of looks like an old lady though. But it's like, and learning hair and everything, it's like crazy, just all the things. But having tips and tricks, like how to do things fast and how to do, or not necessarily fast, but how to pull stuff off to make it look semi-realistic, I
don't think your speed, I can definitely see your speed, and I can see where you would have gained that ability just from all the window paintings, and because you've got, in order to make it efficient, because you don't, I think a key to, and correct me if I'm wrong, but a window itself, I mean, that people are going to pay thousands and thousands of dollars for a window. So in order to make it worth your time, you got to do it quick.
Yeah. More like hundreds.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But I mean, but if you can do it fast enough, then obviously, I mean, you were super, like one of the premier window painters, and you did really well doing that. So, but I think a lot of that was probably because you were fast. I think if a slow window painter probably isn't going to do very well.
Yeah, I have a lot of students and people I teach, and I have some that have really excelled, and they're really fast now, and they've done hundreds, if not thousands, of window panes. But yeah, it's just a combination of things. Like I never thought I'd be able to draw, like really draw, my whole life, even up into my 60s.
That is so weird hearing that from you, but
Yeah,
that's
I always
bizarre.
felt
wonder
like,
if all the other people that are saying that.
but it's like it's like now I'm starting to learn how to draw. I'm starting to learn about form and different things, and trying to build up my muscle memory. And but the other thing too is it's the journey. It's enjoying it. It's like I'm never going to really learn how to draw completely. It's like there's going to be some kind of creature or animal that I might struggle to draw at a certain angle or a certain perspective or certain lighting, but it's about enjoying it too. It's like, we have jobs. I do window painting, or I don't do as much as I used to. I still do paint a little. I painted the other day, but it's like, people should set aside a time for themselves to just to do whatever,
Yeah.
to create. But that's easier said than done. I can say that now because I'm retired. But when I was younger, it was more about, it's about money. It's about keeping going and, and making income and stuff. But everybody, they have different approaches, and they have different brains. It's like, I'm so right-brained. I'm going to sharpen this. Sorry for the noise.
No worries. Well, Dylan says favorite window sign artist is Koi Sun. He does some great work. I follow his YouTube channel and IG. Are you familiar with Koi Sun?
Who is it?
Koi Sun. I pulled it up on the screen. I don't know if you can see the screen.
I'm going to have to look that up. How do you spell it?
I figured you knew all the window painters.
I think it's koi, like the fish. Is koi spelled with a K? Am I crazy?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm just going off of. I'm not familiar, so I'm just going off of what Dylan.
Yeah, I don't.
So Koysun, I guess, is how it's spelled. That's interesting. We'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dylan.
Yeah, I will look. Yeah, there's some pretty amazing people out there that have their own styles. There's can't remember all their names, but one of my students, her name is she goes by Paint by Mish or Michelle. She's out of Staten Island, and she's incredible. She uses airbrush too and stuff.
Wow.
But it's so gratifying because she'll do these huge stores, and she'll do Amazon warehouses and stuff, and just it's so wonderful to see. And I've launched the career of I don't know how many people.
Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah. Do you know of anyone that kind of took your spot out in Portland as far as who's the big sign painter out there now that you're gone?
There's a couple people, but again, I don't remember. I'm using the old age card. But yeah, I don't always remember who's who. But yeah, there are some pretty outstanding people there. The other thing I wanted to say too is being able to melt together different styles. Like you can take what as far as the more realistic stuff and do a kind of a semi, still use the Loomis method a little, but alter it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like what you were saying before about the people who could just draw this perfect eye and everything, and that's amazing, and that's the kind of stuff that really does well on social media, because I think the average person looks at that and they think, oh, they drew it just the way it is. It's amazing.
It's like the mall portraits that people who don't know a ton about art are like, that's a great mall portrait of Tupac or whatever, usually. Yeah.
But I think it's the ability to take reality, learn from it, and then put your own, because it's all those little inconsistencies, and even if you call them mistakes or whatever that you do that make your stuff original and make it not just like a photograph,
Yeah. And it's your I think, to me, I'm much more interested in the concept than than the execution. Like, I think learning the trade is good, and learning the tricks and how to do it is good, but I think the concept behind it, the mind behind it's much more interesting. So like, I'd rather look at 50 people's version of a duck rather than like 50 different renderings that are photorealistic of a duck, because the photorealistic one's going to look exactly the same. I'm not going to remember who the artist is,
Yeah, I think I could learn photorealism in about a year, and I could probably do.
Oh, you could probably learn it in a day.
What they do, I could maybe not be quite as good as the best of those guys, but I could learn, but it would be painful.
It's just a matter of what you want to focus on. If you focus on one thing long enough, I mean, you're gonna get good at it. I mean, the realism stuff isn't something that I've spent a lot of time doing, but if I, just like you said, if I just said, I'm going to dedicate a year or whatever to this.
Oh yeah, you could learn.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is just, at least the traditional photorealists, like the Chuck Closes and stuff like that. I have a lesson that I teach my kids about that, where we do the grid technique, where you just grid off.
Yeah.
It's also good for like if you have to do a giant mural.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
But yeah, I teach them like the grid technique, and then you just kind of like look at the shapes within each box, like Chuck Close used to, and it's like it's pretty quick to get like fairly photorealistic results. It's not like it is one of those things that impresses people it impresses non-artists.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense, but I think a lot of artists look at it and they're like, I can do that. I don't know. I think Scott, I think you could easily nail it.
I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm really not. I think what I've learned about window painting, what I do with window painting, it took decades and decades. But I think with the photorealism, probably like 5, 6, 7 years, maybe, to really get it down. Because really all you're doing is you're looking at something, you duplicate it. But that same person, it's not to say that person doesn't know about form, or they don't know about, other things. But generally, they probably wouldn't be able to do an animated cartoon or something. You know what I mean? I'm just guessing, because they would have had to spend their time doing that, like working on something like that. And, and so I don't know. I don't think of it as a really amazing ability.
Yeah. I think it's, again, like, I think photo reference is good for learning form and for shortcutting. It's not bad for that either, but it's like, but yeah, you need to have an understanding of the form. And like even the template that you're using, I'm forgetting the technique you were saying it is. I didn't know the name.
Oh, the Loomis method.
Yeah, the Loomis method.
Andrew Loomis, yeah.
Yeah, see, I didn't know the origin of it, but I know that template, and it's like I mean, even that, like, that's just based on the skull, that's like the skull and the jawbone, the circle and thing you're drawing, so it's kind of, I think, just like the study of anatomy and really observing is like a really, I think that's half the fun of art, right? Is like you start learning how to look.
Yeah, and then again, it depends on what you want to do. Like, I love zombies. I'd like to do some zombie stuff, like
I want to see you do a zombie comic, Scott. Your camera is a little out of focus, by the way.
It's because it's focusing on his hands. If he moves his hand, he's
weird.
Focused.
I wonder if I turn the big light on, it'll.
Oh yeah, sometimes mine does that too.
Let's see.
That can happen.
Probably.
Oh, weird.
That looks like, so I'm getting older, Scott, and I had my first experience with eyesight problems because like I've had like 20/20 vision my whole life, and then my son went in for a checkup, right, and he's like having trouble reading some of the smaller text, and I was like, what's wrong with, like, there's nothing wrong with him not being able to read it. Like, I can't read the bottom 5 lines. And they're like, really? And so I had to go in for an eye doctor check. And then, of course, like my vision is not 20/20 anymore. It's like 20/80 and like 20/30. But that's kind of what the screen is reminding me of, is like when they get your prescription and then they pull the thing off and you're like, no, bring it back. I can't.
I don't know what's going on. That's weird.
Yeah.
Camera.
We got to change the prescription in the camera.
Huh.
That is great, though. You got to do. I would love to see like a series of zombie paintings.
Well, he's getting requests in the chat. It's a Scott should draw a Joker or Harley Quinn.
A Joker. Let's see if we can get some focusing, though.
Yeah.
Scott, you are incredibly fast at drawing, though.
Let's see. I'm going to move this up. Yeah, I don't know what it's doing here. Let me turn the main light on here, see if it'll...
Yeah, it could be lighting, too.
Maybe it'll re-kick it. Huh.
It's closer now. I mean, I think it seems like you're zoomed in more, but I don't know.
Oh, it's getting there. Looks like it wants... There we go.
Maybe.
Is it?
I can't tell. I can't tell until you draw something.
I feel like we had such a clear, beautiful, crisp view before.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. Maybe if I go from the side a little.
Oh, there we go.
I think that's
that looks back in focus.
Right there. Right there.
There it is. Yeah. You got it.
There you go.
Okay, Joker.
All right.
So out of curiosity, Scott, how long did it take you to get so fast? Or you've always been pretty fast because of the window painting?
Oh, you mean at drawing?
Yeah, you're very, very quick.
Yeah, it's from that. I don't know. I've always kind of been like that, but I just feel like, I don't know. I feel I'm really sped up. I'm really ADHD. So it's hard for me to go slow.
Yeah.
But now that I'm getting muscle memory built in with it, I can start to exploit that, the ADHD stuff. And, but let me see if I can do like kind of a Joker character here. I know his nose is kind of like.
I love that idea of, because I think most artists are probably pretty neurodiverse. Like we're pretty neurodivergent. We're not the typical brains usually. And I do love the idea of using, like, exploiting our strangeness for the sake of art. Because I do think I don't know. I mean, I know Circlin too. You have a bit of ADHD, right?
Oh, definitely. I just talked about that in the latest video. I talked about basically the same thing. Just drawing on all my textbooks and getting in trouble for all that. And So I was. Well,
I think a lot of people back in the day didn't know that was a way that people learned.
I was diagnosed. Well, yeah, I was going to say back then they probably didn't recognize ADHD, but I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was pretty young. So, yeah. So it's like I've always kind of known that. I haven't had myself retest. I'd like to get myself retest just to see what they say. I just kind of, I've learned to kind of, like Scott was saying, learn to kind of live with it and use it as sort of, I just call it sort of a superpower. I'm not putting any, as a kid, I took Ritalin and all that stuff, but I don't take anything for it now, whether that's good or bad. I'm not making a judgment on that, but to me, I don't really want to stifle it. I'm afraid if I stifle it, it would affect, the way I do things. So.
Yeah, that's actually a really interesting point, because it can kind of become something that you lean into and really, become comfortable with. I totally exploited that.
I exploited my ADHD, all my psycho stuff by window painting, like being able to. I mean, with window painting, I do things that people can't do. Like I painted 160 Blockbuster stores in 16 days.
That's
Like
I remember.
10 stores a day. You know, it's like just dressed as a clown.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to bring up. That not to mention your whole second career as a clown.
Yeah.
But yeah, that kept me sane. I don't even know what the Joker looks like, really. I don't know. Does he?
That's a pretty
there's
good
different versions, but I like yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of the older what was the one, the guy from I mean it looks like a mix of Nicholson's and the 50s one.
It almost has a little. I
He's
can
a
see a little
Romero.
bit of the Frank Miller. I can see a little bit of the Frank Miller Dark Knight Joker in there too.
Yep.
I'm trying to. Now I realize he's got green hair. I'm looking for a green pencil. Just a second. But yeah, to me, I'm thinking. Actually, he's got a really skinny chin. His chin is more skinny than this, I think. But I know he has green hair.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it comes down here or what it does. If I had a picture,
this peak is good for like pulling the old the Nicholson version, you know.
if I had a picture of him in front of me, but there's all kinds of versions of him too.
Yeah, here's my.
I like your version more than a drawing of a picture of him.
This is my version. This is one I did recently. So I mean, but it all depends.
Scott, flip that card so people can see the design of it too.
Yeah.
Like the flip, yeah.
That's
so genius.
And
I love that it's a giant playing card and it's Batman related because I feel like giant
That's
replicas
amazing.
of things.
You did
It's
that?
like having the giant
I did a
coin.
whole- I did
That's
a video
amazing.
on
Let
it.
me see the Joker again.
Okay, here.
Oh, so he does have green hair. He's white. And he does kind of have a nose like that, a pointed nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, his eyebrows go way up too. It's more like this.
Dylan was saying he likes your Joker so far, Scott.
Oh, cool.
I always have to it's always hard with the two Scots to know which.
Well, you can't if it's spelled out, you can differentiate the difference because he's got one T. But when
That's
Yeah,
true.
you could say Scott or Scott.
Yeah, I gotta go Scott and Scott. Scott.
So this kind of maybe captures the feeling of him.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I like it.
There's
Yeah,
no way
that's-
somebody, if you ask who that is, they're going to say Joker.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I have God, I wonder if I can find it.
Oh, by the way, if people are watching this and you guys haven't checked out Scott Campbell's channel, you should because
Well, he's got a couple. Yeah,
Yeah.
They're in, both of them are in the description. So he's
Yeah.
got a window painting channel. And he's got like a sketching channel. So
Who asked for this? Dylan?
that was Dylan. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Now,
think it was, yeah.
if you're brave enough to send me your address, I'll mail you this.
Oh, Dylan, send Scott your mailing address, dude. He will.
Scott Campbell at Comcast.net is my email. I'm going to see if I can find this Batman I did. Here's a Batgirl. A sexy Batgirl.
Oh, I'll show you. You guys keep talking. I'll show you what I just got. Speaking of DC Comics.
I'm going to see if I can. I did this Batman. It was really cool. Here's a Joker I did, but it's more of just a jester. It's kind of cool.
I love it.
Oh, I recently picked this up, the DC Comics Style Guide.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. It's all Jose Luis Garcia Lopez artwork. All the stuff that he did
interesting.
for all the merchandise, and it's the.
Oh, that's like my era of merch too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's tons
Yeah,
of
I
stuff in
wish
there.
this stuff really glares, but this is some oil painting that I did. Kind of interesting. It's called The Hive.
I love
But
it.
yeah,
I love the horror influence on all your stuff too. It's
Well, he did a lot of Halloween painting.
Yeah,
Halloween
it's so
promotions on
good.
those windows. And the blacklight stuff is really cool. When you did all the blacklight and the.
Oh yeah, I do that every year. It's going to be our 5th annual. But
you're still doing that?
And the art cars are great too.
Yeah.
I'll probably make another art car. I'm trying to put these back in there.
Oh, Scott, did you end up selling the big art car that you were?
I did. I
sold
it to a museum.
That's amazing.
So
if you're not familiar with Scott, definitely take a deep dive on his window painting. Is there a 3rd channel with the art car, or did you get rid of that one?
No, I have a sculpture channel.
A sculpture channel, okay.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, he's done tons of crazy stuff. He used to be a clown, Extremo the Clown.
I'm going to lift this up a little, and I want to show you, like, I have notebooks, but what I like to do is, I mean, I have sketchbooks, but what I like to do is, like, you can see how thick this is.
Yeah.
These are all sketches of just tons of stuff.
That's what I need to do, because I never like to keep a sketchbook, but I always used to draw on like individual sheets of paper like that. But I never bothered to put them all together like that.
I was about to say I like to draw on typing paper, and then I realized it makes me sound old. Copy paper.
Like I did this in Photoshop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that one. But I was looking for the Batman. I have this Batman where the.
So Scott, while you're looking for that, do you find it like, so you're now in a position where you could literally just draw for the sake of drawing for like hours?
Yeah.
What's the benefit of that? Is there like a part of it, like, because you were talking about kind of like the it's hard to kick the like gotta make money kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm curious. What's that been like? Is it pretty cool? Are there moments where you're like, you need like a giant project or an objective, or has it been kind of fun to just be like, nah, you know what? I'm just gonna draw. Like that sounds really fun to me and relaxing.
It's a dream come true.
Yeah.
To be able to. This is like from, what is it? Fallout, the movie or the series.
Okay. I saw the series. Yeah, it was pretty good. Oh, one more time. Can you slowly list your address again? Because Dylan wanted to know. He's probably going to send you email.
It's Scott with 1 T. So Scot Campbell at Comcast.net.
Okay.
Nice.
I gotta get reference to be able to do his suit, but I'll do that one. I'll do that.
It's kind of a purple pinstripe suit, but there's been different versions of it. But
yeah, I'll figure it out. But
sometimes it's a regular tie, sometimes it's like a kind of like a bolo type.
I still haven't seen like the Joker movie. You know, I still haven't watched that. Either of them.
Oh, the Joaquin. Oh yeah, the first one's good. The second one's really interesting. It's a musical.
Yeah,
that sounds kind of fascinating.
I thought it was cool, but it's really bizarre. I mean, it's literally a musical. They're singing like Lady Gaga, you know, is I guess Harlequin, and the Joker. They're both singing. They're doing acts where they got canes and hats and they're jumping around. I mean, I can see how some people were like, "What the hell is this?"
I kind of love that
really
though.
Disappointed, but I thought it was surreal. It was great. It was weird. Like they just like Joker the musical.
Yeah, I kind of love it just because just hearing it makes me think I'm glad that got made because it sounds bizarre.
Well, it's weird because when they first announced it, they said, "Oh yeah, it's going to be different. It's going to be a musical," and then it seemed they started moving away from that, like not telling anyone. So I think that's what upset a lot of people because they didn't realize. Because I remember the first thing that when they first announced it, it's going to be a musical, and people were like, "What? What?" Maybe they got freaked out, but they still went forward. But they marketed it. That's always the thing that's going to be the nail of the coffin if you market it, if you like are not honest in your marketing. You know,
yeah.
I didn't know
that it isn't.
I didn't know it was going to be a musical. But the only thing I didn't like is they did have an animated sequence in the beginning. I couldn't stand it.
Really?
I was really critical of it. It was like, I guess it was supposed to be really cool or something, but I didn't like it at all. But then when they started singing, I was like, all right. It was too weird. It was so weird.
That's lovely.
Yeah, I watch a lot of movies too. Every night we eat dinner and sit in the living room, got the fire going sometimes, and we just draw and watch movies. And sometimes we'll start a movie and then we'll be like, nope, and then we turn it off and just. But yeah, we're scouring Netflix and Apple TV but yeah, so sometimes I spend a few hours a night in addition to my daily drawing. Just drawing then too. I'm gonna get out my.
So has your wife always drawn too, or is she just kind of?
No, she does more kind of like decorative stuff, but
Yeah.
but yeah, she kind of just started doing more of it lately.
That's cool.
But I mean, I think of it as like, it's just wonderful. I mean, it's the process in itself is wonderful. It's enjoyable, I'm going to go back to this later for Dylan because I want to see what the suit looks like. But yeah, I had a Batman where it had Scarecrow and Joker and they were burning Batman. Batman was like, he wasn't like screaming, but he was concerned and they're like, burn, Bat, burn, and Scarecrow's got a match.
That totally seems like a cover you would have seen in the like in the 70s or something.
I was trying to find a picture of. Sometimes I do live stuff on YouTube where I ask people, what they'd like me to draw, and
that's great. That's a great challenge too.
Yeah, because some things you just don't know how to draw. It's like sometimes, but a lot of times also like when I'm out, I talk to people and I see kids and stuff, and I'm like, "Hey, what's your favorite animal?" Which seems kind of pervy, and then I'll do it. But then I'll do a sketch for them, and they're like, "Wow!" Like if we're out eating or something, and
it's interesting when you do full bodies that you kind of start on the legs first.
Yeah,
I've noticed you do that in a couple sketches.
Oh yeah, that's kind of weird. I don't really. I guess people usually start with the stomach or the head, or I guess maybe the head.
I guess that's pretty smart.
Personally, I kind of gesture out the basic thing, but like right now, you're even just getting now to the gesturing of the upper body.
Yeah,
so it's just interesting. I mean, people that work in different ways, and it's interesting.
Yeah, I could see the advantage of that because once you have the legs, you really do kind of have the proportion.
Yeah. That's where all the weight is. So
Yep.
Well, I like to. Smart. Yeah, I've gotten a lot better at doing bodies and clothes, and just from doing it. Like I couldn't do this 3 years ago. There's no way. But a lot of it too is just, going light and then finding your searching lines. Like where do you want to put stuff?
Yep.
And just like.
Yeah, I think a lot of younger artists and like artists when they first start, one of the biggest mistakes I made too, I think we all kind of do is going like too hard, too fast. And so you go like real, like you want to or you go into too much detail on one little section.
Like you're like,
yeah.
Yeah, I always drew. I still do. I draw pretty light.
God damn it! I broke the lead.
I've always drawn really light to the point where it's funny because sometimes I'll see people who use like a Wacom tablet or something.
Yeah,
and they have such a heavy hand that it's just worn through. I've never.
It's all scraped up. Yeah,
I've never even got anywhere close to doing anything like that to any kind of tablet or anything.
You're able to like return your 10-year-old tablets, and they're like, "Oh, it's brand new."
Yeah, I think there's a lot to that. Just starting really light.
Yeah,
but that's another thing I was going to talk about. Let me sharpen this again. It's broke. I like using these Prismacolor. Premier.
Oh, okay. I like the Color-Race ones.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I use Color-Race. Like I got the red Color-Race, the black Color-Race, and I like the Verithin too. It's just the Verithin you can't erase as much.
Yeah, they've got a little bit of waxy.
Verithin's a little harder too. It's less smooth, But the nice thing about the Verithin is the thing with the broken lead that doesn't happen a lot with the Verithin.
Yeah, I use all three of them, and then I also use I I use the Blackwing matte pencil. These are really good. They're really soft.
Nice.
In fact, I think I'll switch to this because with these you can erase them too. But another thing for imagination is what I do a lot is I just go like this.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite exercises.
And then
I've never seen that pencil. What's on the back? What's on the back? Is that a eraser?
Oh, that's an eraser.
Okay, it just kind of squish. Okay, got it.
And then you when it gets short, you can bring it out.
Oh, amazing. Okay, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, I've never seen one squish like that unless you squish it
yourself. Yeah, and then usually I kind of bite it here to hold it in. But
that's what we used to do when the eraser got small as a kid. Even like the old Ticonderoga, you bite on it and push the eraser out a little.
By the way, that's still my favorite drawing pencil is a Ticonderoga because it's just that's what I grew up drawing with.
Yeah,
so like it just feels like home.
This is the Blackwing 602, same company. The matte is more heavy and thicker.
Yeah,
this is Chuck Jones's favorite pencil right here.
Oh, cool.
This is what he used. But so I look at this and what I see is basically kind of a clown character because there's the nose, there's the mouth coming up, the teeth like that. There's his tongue.
That's one of the most fun exercises.
And like for people that are really left-brained, you can just this does it. I mean,
oh yeah.
And if you want, you can go back in and you can erase stuff. You can change it if you're using this type of pencil, except it just broke.
One of my favorite techniques kind of in that style is, I don't know if you guys have seen the UPA game that the animators used to play at UPA where they would draw like a weird shape and then pass it to another animator. The animator would have to make that shape into a face. But then they'd draw a line that connected to the previous shape that's weird and then pass it along and the next person. So it's all these connecting heads, but that's how UPA ended up coming up with a lot of their kind of out of the box like head shapes. Cool. Was
like to do a square head like that or a big long one like that.
Yeah.
And then they just, go in and start doing it.
It's the best.
But and then so for imagination and then and also your other stuff kicks in, your muscle memory of how to do stuff. But I mean, you come up with some cool characters like doing it this way. So I would suggest for some people to, and just don't worry about it. It's like, who cares? It's like you could always change it too. You can go in and then some of the lines that don't work, you just take them out, and
I love it.
But for like the people watching, you can, and then it's endless. You can just sit here and then like you can do your form. You put your Terminator line in here and, like when you're drawing a ball on a shadow here, and maybe have wrinkles coming up for this nasty wrinkly mouth. And
nasty wrinkly mouths are fun to draw.
Make them a little sinister looking.
To me, that's another sign of like an art major too, is a lot of non-art majors would think like, oh, life drawing class, I want to draw like beautiful people. And most artists I know are like, I want to draw like a cool old person with like amazing wrinkles and stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's just so much more interesting to draw somebody with like a bunch of character, and for me, for a long time, it was so hard to draw like pretty girls or, women, it was so difficult. But I kept working at it and so now I can do it. I do a lot of women and stuff because it's harder, it was a lot harder to do that because I was always drawing when I was a kid, just drawing monsters and all my muscle memory is monsters and weirdos and freaky things and just make his eyebrows freaking out. Giant eyebrows are fun too.
But
I feel like he needs a pencil mustache too for some reason.
Oh yeah, or like that, or maybe like this kind.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, maybe I'll make him not a clown. Change him.
He's a crazy old chef.
Yeah, look at that nose.
That's a lovely nose.
Drawing.
Scott, where can people find your drawing channel too if they're enjoying this? Because I think one of the
description.
Okay,
Yeah.
right below. So make sure you guys do check that out, because one of the things I love about Scott and his work is, like, you watch his window painting videos or his drawing videos or his art car videos. There's always this just energy and enthusiasm. And hopefully, I mean, as you guys can see, it's always kind of translating whenever Scott's drawing, but it's great. I love that. I love that energy you bring to your art.
Well, yeah, it's just when I first discovered Scott's channel, it was like I just started, like, oh, there's all these videos. I'm gonna do this deep dive on his videos because it's so entertaining. Because he'll just be window painting and it'll break out into song and
yeah, or dance. Yeah.
Yeah, this guy's really weird.
Oh, that's amazing.
And you could go in and refine it and but it just starts with a scribble.
I love that.
Scribbling. Yeah, it was on TikTok. I'd do stuff like this, and then I would tell people, send me your address and I'll mail it to you. But I would probably get 1 out of 10 that would be willing to do that. Most people are scared, they don't want to.
Yeah.
But yeah,
understandable, but
why do you want to give that?
But I will tell you, Scott will give you art. Like, if he asks you, he will send it. Just so you know, like, you'll get some art, which is pretty cool. I think it's cool that you're that generous with your stuff.
I feel so lucky that I can do this, that I can just, make stuff and then at the same time, it's just, I get better and better at it, and sometimes I do want certain things that are not going to happen because I'm not a famous artist as far as sketching and drawing, but I would love to be on one of those shows. Like, I've seen Carl Kwapinski on it, Ian McKay, and a lot of famous artists, people that just do work on animated films for Disney and all kinds of stuff. It's like a sketch series or something where they interview them and they give them a sketchbook. And sometimes I watch them, and they're all really good and stuff, but sometimes I watch them and they're like, just going really slow. It's like, man, if I was on that show, I would tear it up. I'd be like, like, drawing like the weirdest. But the thing is, I'll never be on a show like that because I'm not at that level. And then again, it sets in, the reality is it doesn't mean anything anyway. What really means is that you're doing what you love. You have enough money to to live, and that's really it. It's just, but again, like I said earlier, it's hard to break that habit, the habit of, oh, I got to make something of this. But yeah, I definitely want to do some like zines. I think that would be so cool.
Yeah, I would love Scot Campbell zines. That would be amazing.
Yeah, do you ever collect any of these like as a digital booklet or something for your patrons or anything?
Have I done what?
Have you ever collected like your sketches or anything in like a booklet, like a digital booklet for your patrons or anything?
Oh yeah, I do have. And it's so funny because some of these books, I have 2 instructional books on window painting that are digital, but I also have 5 sketchbooks. So I have Scot Campbell, Halloween sketchbook, the Christmas winter sketchbook, and it's got like 65 pages of just sketches, of Santa Claus and polar bears and penguins and stuff. And then I have the spring summer sketchbook, the back to school fall sketchbook, and then I have one called Dragons. It's just dragons. but it's so funny to look at it because it's like some of it's really shitty. I mean, it's like at the time I did it, it's as good as I could do, you know. But 3-4 years passes, you learn a lot in 3 or 4 years, and some of it's really cool though, and some of it's done well. But some of it, I'm just trying to kind of knock the pages out. But people that join Patreon, they get all those books free. It's like $60-$70 worth of books, and then they get a free sketch in the mail every 3 months. I just sent out the sketches.
That's
so they get an original sketch, and they're sketches like this.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not like, just like this, maybe just do a little duck and send it. Or so I offer so much on Patreon. It's crazy for $10 a month. It's like, and then I'm always there answering questions. I never don't answer or acknowledge people when they send me photographs
I love it.
But yeah, I sometimes I get a little I get upset because I like getting the money every month. I make about $400 a month off Patreon, which
That's
isn't
good.
it's not bad. But the thing is, sometimes like I said, when it slows down this time of year, I get kind of bummed out because I don't hear from people, and
yeah, it's really, I found that Patreon as almost like a social media thing. You don't get, I mean, it seems like people just want to go on there and support you and stuff, and there's not a whole lot of interaction.
Yeah, and so when I jump around, like I was doing a lot on TikTok, like I said before, but then what happened, it was just too much, and I had 3 channels, and I was trying to, but then after I quit, I was fine. But then after that, things started slowing down with YouTube and Patreon. I mean, if I get 3 or 4 comments on YouTube a day, that's fine. That satiates me. That's enough. I answer them. I talk to them. And then on Patreon, the same, just a few. I don't need like a ton. But sometimes it'll go, like this time of year, it'll go days with nothing.
Oh yeah, I'm the same way.
And it's like, I'm doing all this. Like I made a video last week that was 55 minutes long. It took me 8 hours to produce it. I put it on Patreon. It's exclusive on Patreon, and it got like 2 views.
Yeah, that's.
So now what I'm doing, because I have like 400 and something videos that nobody can see, only on Patreon. So now what I'm doing is I go in, and I'll go to like 4 or 5 years ago, and I'll look at a Patreon video, and it'll say 7 views. I just take it and upload it again.
Yeah.
Or if it's dated, I'll take certain stuff out.
Yeah.
And people, they don't know because only 7 people saw it.
Yep.
Yeah.
4 years ago. So it's like I'm starting to do that more too.
Yeah, I'm gonna take. I'm playing with the idea of starting this second YouTube channel because I still have this theory that because I've done different things in the past that YouTube really doesn't know what my channel is, and since I started doing something new, it doesn't really understand. So the audience is kind of split.
Like you confused the AI.
Yeah, or the algorithm or whatever. So I'm going to take a lot of the content I made was good, but just didn't get the amount of views that I would hope. So I'm going to try to kind of repackage.
I know it's crazy because you've got the dungeon, the creative dungeon and all that stuff.
The underground layer, yeah.
I mean, yeah, the underground layer. It is like so freaking amazing, and it's frustrating to me because I see people that create really quality stuff, and and it's like I could have a video like this that says like how to add character to a duck or something, and it'll get like 20 views over 2 years, and it's like, but then you'll see a thing that says how to draw a duck, and it'll be like this, and it'll have like 1,000, 20,000 views.
Yeah,
but it's like, it's just weird, the algorithm, I don't know how it works. I just don't know.
I've tried.
By the way, I like the duck you used as an example there. I actually like that little simple one too. He's pretty awesome. I feel like Scott, at some point I I want to see you do like a just classic wizard van.
Wizard van?
Yeah, like a wizard van. Like a.
I mean, he has all the skills. He's actually built cars before for the most part.
Yeah, you've done
He's
art
all the
cars.
painting.
You draw amazing.
He knows how to airbrush
things. Yeah. I want to see a rad wizard van.
His van could actually look like an actual wizard, not just painting.
That's true. It could be the actual wizard van. Anyhow, sorry. Yeah. It was just I'm obsessed with wizard.
The best incarnation of my van, and I changed it, and I shouldn't have. It was called Never Never Van, and it was all just mystical and really cool stuff.
That's amazing.
And then I also had that monkey puppet that I had. I can't remember his name now. Charlie? I can't even remember now, but I had the monkey puppet. Oh, Spanky, which didn't help either. And so, but people would kind of equate me with like Michael Jackson, Never Never Van and
Spanky. Oh no.
So I stopped doing that, and I changed the theme to more dark, like a darker theme. And I tore off a bunch of stuff, but that was and I had this really awesome graphic on the back of the van because we had like one of those big, large format printers, those $20,000 printers for a while, and it was just so cool. And it said Never Never Van. It was like this graphic. And
I have a piece that's in my closet, a piece of, I think it was from the vehicle that you tore off and sent to me. It's like a little skull, like a sculpted skull that you did. Yeah.
It's in a museum now. Yeah, it's in Arizona.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's in a museum called Art Car World.
I
sold it because I changed it to more of a dark theme. I ended up calling it Dark Ride Now.
Yeah.
NOW, Nightmare on Wheels. And it had a waterfall of blood. It was like a huge 3-foot head. And then, but it's so weird. You would think that someone would look at that and think, wow, this is special. This is art, or something. But it's like sometimes people don't, it doesn't fit with their brain.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like I could go to First Thursday, the gallery walk in Portland, and park it there. And when I first started doing the van and the sculpture, people would come up and kind of look at it, but then they'd rush inside to go to the gallery where the real art is, and it's just weird. Art is so weird, and
it really is.
And fine art. But that's the other thing I want to do too, is I definitely want to oil paint, and I want to do just fucking crazy ass zombies and 2x3, 2x4 paintings, of just really dark stuff. And
I love it.
I don't know. I have so many dreams still, even at my age, of just, and it's so fun to be able to learn, just to do hands like this. I couldn't do hands, and why does a duck have hands like this anyway? I should have made his hands more like this with, like feathers, big long feathers like that. Probably would have been better. But there's no rules really.
Right.
I don't have rules and stuff. But yeah, I definitely want to sculpt. I want to learn how to weld. God,
you didn't do any welding with all the art cars and stuff?
No, it was all mostly polyurethane resin.
Yeah.
All the artwork. Really, yeah, it was all just, this guy looks sort of like Donald Duck.
Yeah, there's so many different disciplines and different things that, like the welding thing. I want to build a vacuum form machine. And fortunately my neighbor's a welder, so I'm pretty sure he'll help me out with it. But that's like, to me, that's like, that's nothing I want to learn how to do. I'm just gonna find somebody that can do it.
But yeah,
but there's so many cool things you could do. Yeah,
a vacuum form would be great, for art cars.
Yeah,
because you could duplicate his stuff quickly, and if you poured it thick enough, the plastic, it would hold up against the weather, and then you just attach it with silicone. Caulking works really good.
Yeah, I want to learn. I mean, I was watching a a channel where a guy makes, you know, like toys and stuff like that. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, I wonder if I could teach myself like, is it ZBrush or what's the one where you sculpt digitally? Because I mean, this guy,
one of them.
Yeah, this guy it sounded like he started pretty recently, and he was doing some amazing stuff. And I don't have a 3D printer, but that's like, I mean, I think if I can doing what I like to do, where I like to build these projects, I'm pretty limited to what I can do, because most of it deals with, you know, just paper and packaging and things like that. Where if I could take it to the next level, and there's so many other projects I could build, if I could actually like build the toys and you know, if I could learn 3D printing and stuff like that, and sculpting, I could do so much more. But then it's like,
that'd be fun just for
learn that. But yeah,
the utility of it too.
Yeah,
you know, like if you have a part break or something, you can be like, oh, I'll just build it and print it.
Yeah. But like Scott being retired, I mean, that's the kind of thing if you have the time where you could just like, oh, I have the time to actually sit down and learn this. So yeah, cool.
Yeah, like I said before, this is definitely the best time of my life. It's so exciting for me that I'm learning how to draw. It's like, and it's kind of exponential. It's like your brain, it starts making more connections, you know, the more you do it. And it's like it goes faster and faster. Like for a long time, it was so slow. And, you know, I think when I retired and I moved here, I put forth an effort to try to look at a foot and see what it looks like and draw it and learn about shading and different techniques with pencils and different things. And it was kind of laborious and slow, and it wasn't always super exciting. You know, it's frustrating, and it still is frustrating sometimes, but in general, it's like, wow, I can draw. I can draw.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because it's like our former co-host Corey used to say. I mean, like, because he kind of taught himself how to draw later in life, but he always said that the reason why he took to it so well is because he had always done other kind of creative things. He'd always been sort of like marketing or design or whatever, and so that informed. And it's kind of the same with you. You're saying you're teaching yourself how to draw, and everyone that knows you or seen your work is kind of like, what are you talking about? You can draw already, but you're like, you know, you're doing something different, but still everything you've done up to that point gives you a tremendous head start in what you're doing now, you know?
Oh yeah. It's led up to it. You know, it's probably the most important thing though, is my ability to look at something and see the direction of the lines and the negative space. I've developed that left brain capability, and it's going to get stronger because I noticed just in the last few months it changing. Like I noticed that it's like now I can usually take a Disney character, you know, like Robin Hood and Little John from the Disney film, or Baloo or something. I can usually copy it pretty good, or like the characters from the Rescuers. I couldn't do that before, so it's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I would do that for my patrons. I would do something like that. But when I do it, it's really fun because I'm developing that side of my brain, the left side of my brain, where I'm not imagining things and I'm not going off and going crazy. And so I'm looking at it, and I notice I'm getting faster at looking. I look at it and I look at what I'm drawing, look at what I'm drawing, look at what I'm drawing, back and forth, really fast, really fast. I look at it like I'm speeding up, you know, like, and I, you know, like when I did the picture earlier of, I don't know where I put it, of the picture of me based on the photograph of me with the Eat, Sleep, Draw shirt. It doesn't look a lot like me, but still it's closer than what I would have done before, for sure. And it's so exciting. It's exciting to learn how to do these new things that I've never been able to do, because I was basically insane. I mean, I was just right-brained and just crazy. But then at the same time, that's why I was so good at Windows. It was because I could do that.
Yeah.
You know, I could show up and somebody could say, oh, we're having a we're having a sale, on it's spring sale with flowers. It's 50% off. And while they're talking to me, my brain's already taken off. It's
Yeah.
like I
Mhm.
see a giant flower running with a basket of more flowers, and my brain is going. The right side is just taken off. And then someone would say, "Oh, can you do this logo?" And I go, "I don't do logos. I can't copy a goddamn logo. I don't have that ability." So yeah, it's kind of back to the subject of, imagination, and it's imagination, muscle memory, learning tricks like Loomis method and other method. Do you guys know who Rodgon is? You ever heard of him?
No.
No.
Yeah, his name's Rodgon. He teaches online, and he's really funny, but he has all kinds of weird little methods, like he does the mask method. Have a face, and then you draw the mask, and then you draw the eyes, and and he just has all kinds of things. But I've learned a lot from him, and he's always like, "You don't have to go to art school. I'll teach
Yeah.
you."
Yeah.
But yeah, like he'll
How do you
do.
spell that? What is it?
It's Rodgon. I
Okay.
think his real name is let's see, Rodriguez Gonzalez.
Okay. Oh well,
Yeah.
that makes
Yeah,
sense.
it's Rodgon.
Okay, I'll have to check that
He
out.
does a lot of stuff like on TikTok and on YouTube too. But yeah, I study him. And I copy people. I copy their styles, and that's how I learn, is like people I really like. Like, do you know who Ian McCaig is?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he's like, wow.
yeah.
He's so good.
His name is strangely very close to Ian McKay as well. Ian Mackay, from Minor Threat. So
That's funny.
wild.
Yeah, so and then also the tools I use change how I draw.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
when I draw with pen and ink, it's like, or when I draw like this, it's a certain look.
Yeah.
But then if I switch to a Japanese brush pen, I draw differently.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like a whole different feeling.
I love that about art supplies, actually, is when you change them up, you get different results and different techniques get brought out, like in your arm and in your mind. It's really interesting how those things kind of just get pulled out.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's like, I think it's funny sometimes how it just changes.
Yeah, it's similar. I feel the same way about like guitars, where it's like if I play a guitar, if I'm playing like a Telecaster, it's got a different, like I'm going to bring something different out than if I'm playing a different style of guitar.
Yeah.
And I feel like the same thing happens with art supplies too. Like if I paint with oils, it's like a much more kind of like just, I love that pencil nose. That's the best. That's an amazing nose.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah, you can definitely see the difference just based on
Yeah.
the tools and things you're picking up and everything. We
That
are
is
getting
inspiring.
close. We're getting close to our 90 minutes. So, I mean, it's just kind of cool. It's got a different episode. Just like usually, our guests aren't drawing and everything like that. So, I mean, it's just really, it's kind of cool. I'm sure that the chat appreciates it and everything. So, but we do. Man, I could just sit here and watch you sketch for hours, but that's why you have a channel. So if you want to see Scott sketch on his channel, he's got two channels. He's got the window painting channel, and then he's got his sketch channel. Both of those are listed in the description of the video. I don't know, Scott, is there anything like parting words or last things that you wanted to say to sum everything up before we head out?
Just do what you love, and the money will follow.
Yeah. And then
it might take a while. You might be working, at the grocery store, or, in a warehouse or something. But when you go home at night, do what you love. Do the drawing, do the sculpting, do the painting, because that's what does it. whatever you love to do, it's gonna happen. It just takes time, it just, you got to put in the time.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right.
Inspiring stuff.
Josh, what do you got? Anything to say before we close things out? People can find you and everything.
I mean, you can find my stuff at Joshua Campbell on YouTube and on the interwebs. You can pick up 2 Stories or Jacob's Apartment if you want to support indie comics. And if you want to hear some amazing free music, look up Joshua Campbell on all music streaming platforms, and you'll most likely find like 5 albums.
So how do I get your books? Jacob's Table?
Jacob's Apartment. That one you can order through like Barnes and Noble, or you can get it at most local bookstores, but you probably can just get it on Amazon, and then 2 Stories. Yeah.
So I go to, if I type in Amazon and Jacob's Apartment, I'll find it.
Yep.
You might have to type Joshua Campbell too. But...
Oh yeah, that might help. Yeah.
What's the other one?
2 Stories. Yeah,
is it 2 like that? 2 Stories?
Yeah, and that one you definitely want to put Joshua Campbell because, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, because I want to get them.
Well, I mean, you could always just shoot me your address too, Scott.
No, I'll support you.
Well, yeah, and as far as me, you're on my channel now. If you want to see some of the other stuff I'm doing, I just put out a video today where I don't know how many people remember the old classic Peachy folders.
So
I watched those videos. It was so crazy.
And then so I transformed the Peachy folder into the Screechy folder, show my whole
So
process,
good.
and I've got crazy monsters and stuff. I figure Scott would appreciate this because he likes to draw these crazy zombies and monsters.
It was so good.
Things
It's
like
so
that.
good.
So definitely check out that video. Also on my channel, you can find my series Making Comics 101. It's the most comprehensive resource on how to make comics, or video series on how to make comics that you're going to find free anyway. And that's on my YouTube channel. So check that out. There's playlists for that. I also have a website, circworks.com, where you can find my digital products. I've got physical products, prints, wax packs. I got all kinds of crazy stuff up there. You can check that out. I also have my comic book series, Young and the Dead. There's 5 issues available now, but coming soon. I'll be running a Kickstarter probably next month. So just kind of listen out for that. And as soon as I set up a page, and I'll have a pre-order thing that you can sign up for and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just excited to finally bring that full series together for you guys. So I'll be talking about that in the coming weeks. And yeah, this show, the Artcasters, we do this show pretty much every single week. It bounces back and forth from Josh's channel to my own. We have a different guest on every week, different topic. So if you want to know whose channel it's going to be on, what time, what day, all that stuff, we try to keep it pretty consistent. Now it's typically on Tuesdays, and I did find out it's kind of weird because I usually put my videos out. If I launch a video, it's on Tuesday. So I might start moving my videos to a different day because then I, spread it out, I guess. But anyway, whatever. If you want to know when we're going to go live, all that stuff, just join our mailing list. There's a link in the description. We don't spam you or anything. All we do is let you know, about at least a half hour before we go live, what channel is going to be on, who the guest is, the topic, all that stuff. And yeah, and also want to thank the chat. There we get to see Scott.
Yes.
All right, there we go. This was a great episode, man.
It was great.
Have to have you back soon.
I had so much fun drawing. I like drawing.
Yeah,
such inspiring stuff. It's fun to watch too. You really are quite fun to watch drawing. Like it's inspiring stuff.
Cool.
All right, Scott. It's been great hanging out with you again. It's been
sleep,
far
draw,
too long.
repeat.
Yeah. I mean, that's a mantra, and Scott lives it for sure. For sure.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going to be drawing after I hang up.
I love it.
All right, guys, take a cue from Scott. Break out that checkbook or that sketchbook, and break out your checkbook too, and
break out your checkbook.
Support
your money.
Yeah, go support Scott on his Patreon.
Support his sketchbook with your checkbook. There you go.
Yeah, join my Patreon. You can do it for as low as $2 a month.
Yeah, Dylan says he's excited. He said he sent you an email, so he's excited to get that Joker drawing. So
I love it.
He's sending you other stuff too.
Jim says he's breaking on his checkbook. All right. Okay, everyone. We will see you guys next week. Later.
That was fun. I had a great time.
Awesome.